The small diner on the corner of Maple and Fifth was a relic of a bygone era. Its red vinyl booths, checkered floors, and the faint smell of coffee and grease had been a staple of the neighborhood for decades. Clara, a 28-year-old waitress with a heart as warm as the apple pie she served, had been working there for 3 years. She wasn't just a waitress, she was the heart of the place. Regulars came for her smile, her quick wit, and the way she remembered everyone's favorite orders. But Clara's kindness wasn't reserved just for paying customers. It was a chilly November morning when Clara first noticed the dog. He was a scruffy, medium-sized mutt with matted fur and eyes that seemed to carry the weight of the world. He lingered near the dumpster behind the diner, sniffing for scraps. Clara's heart ached for him. She'd always had a soft spot for animals, and this poor creature looked like he hadn't eaten in days. "Hey there, buddy," she whispered, crouching down and holding out a piece of leftover bacon from the breakfast rush. The dog hesitated, his tail tucked between his legs, but hunger won out. He crept forward, snatched the bacon, and darted back to a safe distance. Clara smiled. "I'll call you, buddy," she said. "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." From that day on, Clara made it her mission to feed Buddy. She'd sneak him bits of sausage, toast, and whatever else she could spare from the kitchen. She even started bringing a bag of dog food from home, leaving it in a small dish by the dumpster. Buddy began to trust her, wagging his tail when he saw her and even letting her pet him after a few weeks. Clara dreamed of one day taking him home, but her tiny apartment didn't allow pets. For now, this was the best she could do, but not everyone appreciated Clara's kindness. Her boss, Mr. Hank Grayson, was a gruff man in his late 50s who cared more about the bottom line than anything else. He had a strict no feeding strays policy, claiming it would attract pests and make the diner look unprofessional. Clara had always ignored the rule, careful to feed Buddy when Hank wasn't around. But one fateful morning, her luck ran out. It was a busy Saturday, and the diner was packed with customers. Clara was juggling multiple tables when she spotted Buddy outside, looking thinner than usual. Her heart sank. She quickly grabbed a plate of leftover pancakes and slipped out the back door. "Here you go, Buddy," she said, placing the plate on the ground. The dog wagged his tail and dug in. "What the hell do you think you're doing?" A voice boomed behind her. Clara froze. She turned to see Hank standing there, his face red with anger. I was just," she stammered. "I've told you 100 times, no feeding strays," Hank shouted. "This isn't a damn animal shelter. You're fired, Clara. Get out of here." The words hit her like a punch to the gut. "Hank, please," she begged. "He's starving. I couldn't just let him." "I don't care," Hank interrupted. "You're done. Clean out your locker and leave." Tears welled up in Claire's eyes as she walked back inside. The diner fell silent as the regulars watched her gather her things. "Clara, what's going on?" asked Mrs. Thompson, an elderly woman who came in every morning for her oatmeal. I got fired," Clara whispered, her voice breaking. "What, why?" Mrs. Thompson demanded. "Because she can't follow simple rules," Hank snapped, emerging from the kitchen. "Now, if you'll excuse us, we have a business to run." Clara didn't argue. She grabbed her coat and walked out the door, her heart heavy. Buddy was still outside, wagging his tail as if sensing her distress. "I'm sorry, boy," she said, kneeling down to pet him. "I don't know how I'm going to take care of you now." As she stood up to leave, a sleek black car pulled into the diner's parking lot. A man in a tailored suit stepped out, his eyes scanning the area. Clara didn't think much of it until he walked straight toward her. "Excuse me," the man said, his voice calm but authoritative. "Is this your dog?" Clara shook her head. "No, he's a stray. I've just been feeding him." The man knelt down and examined Buddy closely. The dog, usually shy around strangers, didn't seem to mind. In fact, he wagged his tail and licked the man's hand. "Interesting," the man murmured. He stood up and turned to Clara. "My name is Dr. Ethan Carter. I'm a veterinarian. This dog, he's not just any stray." Clara frowned. "What do you mean?" Dr. Carter hesitated, then said, "I think this dog might be a rare breed, a Bergamasco Shepherd. They're incredibly valuable. If I'm right, someone might be looking for him." Clara's eyes widened. "Really? But he's been out here for weeks. No one's come looking for him?" "That's why I need to take him to my clinic for a proper examination," Dr. Carter explained. "If he's a Bergamasco, I can help find his owner, or at least get him the care he needs." Clara's heart sank. She didn't want to lose Buddy, but she knew this was what was best for him. "Okay," she said softly. "Just take good care of him, please." Dr. Carter nodded. "I will. And if you'd like, you can come by the clinic tomorrow to check on him." Clara agreed, watching as Dr. Carter gently led Buddy to his car. She felt a mix of emotions, sadness, hope, and a strange sense of relief. At least Buddy would be safe now. The next morning, Clara arrived at Dr. Carter's clinic, a modern building on the outskirts of town. She was nervous, unsure of what to expect. When she walked in, Dr. Carter greeted her with a smile. "Clara, I'm glad you're here. I have some news." He led her to a spacious room where Buddy was lying on a soft bed, looking cleaner and healthier than she'd ever seen him. "He's indeed a Bergamasco Shepherd," Dr. Carter said, "and he's microchipped. I was able to contact his owner." Clara's heart skipped a beat. His owner? Before Dr. Carter could respond, the door opened and a woman walked in. She was elegant, with silver hair and a kind face. "Clara?" the woman asked. "Yes," Clara replied, confused. The woman smiled. "My name is Margaret Whitmore. I'm Buddy's owner, or rather Max's owner. He's been missing for months. I can't thank you enough for taking care of him." Clara was stunned. I didn't know. I just couldn't let him starve." Margaret's eyes filled with tears. "You have no idea how much this means to me. Max is more than just a dog to me. He's family." She reached into her purse and pulled out a check. "Please take this as a token of my gratitude." Clara glanced at the check and gasped. It was for $50,000. "I can't accept this," she said quickly. "I didn't do it for money." Margaret smiled. "I know, but you deserve it. And there's more. I own a chain of boutique hotels, and I'd like to offer you a job as the manager of our new location downtown. You clearly have a big heart and a strong work ethic. I'd be honored to have you on my team." Clara was speechless. This was more than she could have ever imagined. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Margaret said with a laugh. "And don't worry about Max. He'll be coming home with me. But I'd love for you to visit him whenever you'd like." Tears streamed down Clara's face as she accepted the check and the job offer. It was a dream come true, a chance to start over, to make a difference, and to know that her kindness had truly paid off. As she left the clinic, Clara couldn't help but smile. Sometimes, life had a funny way of working out. She had lost her job, but in doing so, she had gained so much more. And as she walked down the street, she knew one thing for sure. She would never stop helping those in need, whether they walked on 2 legs or 4.